Hello. We're here again on the Inadequate Mother podcast. I am joined again by Leon. The next topic of conversation is pretty privilege. I don't think I heard it before I saw your post on social media, on Instagram. So I would like for you to explain what pretty privilege is.
Okay, well, then let's just think of what is privilege.
An upper hand. It's a
Okay,
kind of a benefit.
okay.
Privilege, the sign for privilege is this, and it's the same sign for benefit.
Okay. So until you see my post, although you never heard of pretty privilege, do you understand how you may have benefited from it? Or how people may benefit from it?
The reason I liked your post is because everything that you reeled off was not a privilege. It was almost an insight into how the privilege has led women down a road that you're having to help them down. So is this something you see in your clients?
Yeah, and you see in society, being privileged in an area of your life sometimes automatically means that there's a disadvantage. So having pretty privilege isn't good for development within a person. So, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say the shop shuts at 9 p.m. every night, right? And then a really attractive woman gets there at 9:05. Shop's closed.
Yeah.
But then the shopkeeper, because she's attractive, turns around and says, "Oh, I'll open the shop for you. You can come into the shop." So then now at 9:05, she goes in there, gets her license, and then go home. In actual fact, now she does that almost every night, and he lets her in. Yeah. So that privilege, what it's done for her, it allowed her to live outside the law. Right?
Yeah.
It's a silly example, but it happens in life,
Yeah.
not just with people. But if you're driving down the road and you see a Lamborghini trying to pull out of a T-junction, we are more likely to let him out because he's in a Lamborghini or she's in a Lamborghini.
Are we?
Of course we are. Okay. But generally, what I'm saying is that we're probably more likely to let them through. My point is that if you are attractive in some way, shape or form, then someone's going to let you get away with something that they wouldn't let someone else get away with. So let's flip this around, okay? Hold on. All right. Let's flip this around.
Yeah.
If there's pretty privilege, there's going to be ugly disadvantage. Through life, what I found is with female clients that I have, is that those who, and I'm going to say suffered from pretty privilege, had less of a work ethic. Not with everyone, but some of them had less of a work ethic.
Yeah.
Would you say that you had things in some ways easier because you're an attractive woman?
I didn't have an easy time,
Okay.
and I definitely used my attractiveness to climb out of that uneasy time.
Okay. So then if you wasn't attractive, then how would
I'd
that
have
have worked?
probably had a harder time climbing out of the situations I was in.
So then you see how that affects people.
Yeah.
But if we look at it a little bit wider than that, it's also the same thing almost as it's a discrimination, isn't it? But it's not looked at as a discrimination because it's a personal preference, isn't it?
Yeah. We are, but do you not think because of the way society's shaped that our perception of beauty is just completely controlled by certain external factors? And you can say, oh, well, I'm just not attracted to that. But what we are attracted to is massively inputted into us throughout life in terms of our childhood and everything. So there's a level of responsibility to everyone to be self-aware of what they're attracted to and why they're attracted to it.
Okay, yes and no. Why would the winner care about the person in second place?
What do you mean by that?
So when we're saying about people have to have a responsibility, but why would they care about people who aren't?
I'm not talking about the people that are attractive. I'm talking about the people that find them attractive. So I'm flipping the responsibility off the person that's attracted and I'm putting it back on the person that's assigning that power.
Okay, so let's say that you're sitting there, an attractive woman, and someone sitting there who's not an attractive woman. Should I then say, do you know what? I'm going to give that woman a fair go because she's not attractive, and it's my responsibility to make sure that she feels okay.
No, but I think it's within your remit to evaluate why you're attracted to one person and not the other.
Why?
I feel that, and I'm going back to like my spiritual kind of insight, I don't feel men were created to lust with their eyes. I feel like we were created to lust with their hearts, and that throughout life they've lost that ability. And it's on a man who primarily assigns the beauty standards to what go on. Because we are attracted to ugly. I would very much be attracted to a man that's kind, a good head on him, like engages with him and stimulates me, and is visually unattractive, compared to a man that's really attractive but just is completely empty up there. Like, women are different. So I think for me, men have to take responsibility for what they're assigning as attractive and learn to, when they see a woman on a pole, are they watching how she moves into her personality, her soul? You know what I mean?
Okay. We lust with our heart because we lust with our eyes first. And when you say that you women are attracted to, say, men who aren't always good looking, whatever, that's not true. That's
You
not true
don't
at all.
think that? You're saying that that's not true, and I haven't been attracted to unattractive men.
Is your boyfriend attractive?
Yeah, he is. But I can tell you now, I've had very unattractive boyfriends.
Okay. What?
That's not what stimulates a woman. Okay, let's take it for example. When a woman turns a paper and she looks at the man in the magazine, is her thought, oh, I really want to have sex with that man? Or is her thought, I really want to talk to that man and get to know him?
You tell me. Okay, listen. Okay.
Listen.
Okay. Listen. No. Okay. Listen.
I mean, you're talking to a middle-aged woman that's got very established needs.
No, listen.
But
no, Hayley, listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to just jump to your point. You mentioned about a woman on a pole and movement and swerving. So let's just be honest here. If a man is in a strip club, he's not there to look at ugly women. Okay. He's not looking at the woman thinking, oh, she's got a great personality. So if you're mentioning the pole on a woman, he's there for a reason because he's going to be attracted to
but
women.
what I'm trying to highlight is, what is he assigning the value? How she's moving and how that might reflect her soul, her heart, or her visual appearance and how that can benefit him physically. I am challenging a man to challenge himself to think about what he's assigning value to in terms of beauty. You're not getting it, are you?
No. Listen, so this is really good.
You're not though, because you're looking at me like I'm crazy, Leon.
Tell you what, it's good because a man goes into a strip club purely for visualization, stimulation, nothing more than that. Nothing.
I mean, obviously, that's an extreme example we're talking about.
Okay, but you mentioned the whole pole.
Yeah, because I have been on a pole.
Okay.
And I've been to pole fitness classes, and I have been in that community of pole dancing, and where the expression and they live to tell a story through their movement.
But that might be the reason why you're on a pole in an exercise class.
Class.
Okay.
If you're expressionative and you want to, it's contemporary dance.
Okay, but listen, like, we have to get this straight. You mentioned a woman on a pole and a man.
Yeah.
Okay. A woman on a pole and a man. He's going there for visual stimulation, nothing else.
Okay. As a single person going into a church, it's one thing being single. It's one thing being single and having pretty privilege.
Okay.
You walk over to a married couple, which predominantly churches are full of.
Okay. So can we be honest? Here? You're going to walk in that place, let's say as an attractive woman, some of the men in there are starving. You know what to tell you? They're starving. So you walk in there as a single
They're
woman.
starving and married.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People think that
Starving
married
of
men
what?
aren't starving. You think,
Starved of what?
do you think that married men aren't starving?
Starved of
Married
what?
men are probably the most starving men in the world. Of course. Not just because they're not being
Starved of
fed.
what, though?
Hear me? Not just because they're not being fed, but they're being fed the same food all the time.
Starved of what? Physical.
Both.
So again, I'm being assigned through my pretty privilege a value that I am associated with that starvation.
Yeah. But I'm
Just because of pretty, but that's not a privilege. That's a massive barrier.
Yeah, okay.
Because, yeah, so when you talked about pretty privilege, for me, it just highlighted all the barriers and all the kind of, not so much the development, because I clocked onto this because I did modelling and promo modelling and all that, and I was scarcely aware of it, and I was like, this is not who I want to be.
Okay. What did you do it?
Huh?
What did you do it?
Because I needed money.
Okay. Could Pat Butcher have just walked in with that?
No,
Why
I'm
not?
not saying it wasn't a privilege.
Okay.
I'm not saying it.
Okay.
But at the same time, I just think raising awareness to it. And because I'm raising daughters, let me ask you a question. Do you think you've got a daughter? Haven't you?
Yeah.
How many? Two?
What?
Two, one. Did you ever say to your daughter, you're beautiful?
All the time?
Did you say you're pretty?
No, do you know what? I never really said she was pretty because I didn't really want to put emphasis on the way she looked.
So is beautiful and pretty different?
Because beautiful could mean that you are pretty, but pretty only means that you are attractive.
Beautiful only means that beautiful could mean that you are pretty, but
and
pretty.
pretty only means that you're attractive. With my son, I tell him that he's beautiful all the time because he's important. The most important thing is what you tell yourself. You have to know who you are, because if you don't know who you are, the world will tell you who you are.
So the term beautiful is more of a broader term that can
Of course it is.
incorporate like
Of course.
other elements of,
You could be an ugly duckling, but still beautiful.
yeah.
You know?
So I think, learning the right language
Yeah.
when we talk to our kids about their appearance, saying you're beautiful instead of pretty. Again, that's something I've often thought about. But I see my girls assigning value to their appearance, and I'm constantly conscientious of how much I'm impacting that.
Are you an attractive woman?
Oh, yeah. And this is what I'm trying to say, Leon. I'm not giving men a hard time or the world, but there's a level of responsibility that has to be taken from the person that's assigned the value. Yeah, I think we all do as women. We zone into how people respond to us. So again, it's with this pretty privilege, I think we really need to emphasize the responsibility back to the person who's assigning it.
Okay, so really interesting. So let's just use me as an example. If I find you pretty and attractive, what, is that wrong?
No, but if you treat me differently on a day that I'm looking attractive to a day that when I'm not and I'm looking rough, which if you respond and behave differently to me, then that is wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Not learning from it. I'm saying in your years of growth, you should develop that
So I've
for
got a
us to
question.
be able to squash it out of society.
Okay. Are there days where you go out with makeup and without makeup? Why?
Because sometimes I don't have time, sometimes I can't be bothered, sometimes...
Why do you put makeup on?
Sometimes I look in the mirror and I like what I see based off of my understanding of what's nice and what's not nice.
So you treat yourself differently depending on how you feel.
I probably talk to myself, I wouldn't say treat myself differently, but
so you treat yourself differently and talk to yourself differently.
I would look at myself differently.
Yeah.
Because we all agree on what's beautiful. We all know what turns men on. We all know what looks... I'm talking about the term, I'm using that a lot actually lately, collective consensus.
Okay.
And that's
What does that even mean?
sociological term that was I was interpreting a sociology degree. I just loved it because basically, for something to be real, you can touch it. It's a physical thing. We know that there's a chair there, there's a table there. For the concept of family, you can't touch it. We don't know what it is. So you can't see it, but we have a collective consensus and agreement of what it is.
Yeah, but I can touch my brother and sister on the shoulder. Like,
What is family?
okay.
So
People that have the same blood as you and that come from the same parents.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because our collective consensus, like historically, you would assign the term, the concept of family as a man, a woman, and kids. And, you know, that's how society was built.
Okay.
You know, your value would be assigned by everyone agreeing that that's what it is.
Okay.
Because you can't touch it, you can't see it. So everyone would agree. We think that this thing, family, exists because we all agree. And what's happening now with society is that we're not governed by religion and we're not governed by the government assigning these consensuses of value. Okay. We're kind of all branching off and assigning our own value, which is causing this bit of a mayhem where we don't know what's what. So we don't know what family is anymore.
So can I ask you the question I asked you again with a little bit more detail?
Go on then.
You said about treating a woman differently, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a boyfriend. So let's say you go to the hairdressers. I don't know what you do. Go hairdressers and get your hair done, get your face done.
So annoying that you don't know what we do.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie because it's not
Hear me
just what
out.
we do, it's what we bloody spend.
Okay.
Sorry, but
So what's this?
carry on. Move
Face
on.
done, hair done, eyebrows done, cheeks, I don't know, whatever you do.
Loads.
Okay, so let's say that you buy a nice dress or whatever, and you come home and your boyfriend's sitting down. Would you expect him to say, you look nice?
I wouldn't because I don't do it for him
So
now.
you wouldn't feel any way if you'd done all that work, come in and he just was like, you good, and carry on watching television.
I mean, maybe I would.
If you came downstairs in your pajamas, just fresh out of bed, would you expect him to say, oh, you look really good?
Sometimes, yeah, I want that.
What you're saying is that you would want to maybe treat it differently at different times depending on how you looked.
Absolutely not, Nick.
Okay.
Who would want that?
Okay.
No. I've said that that's what I expect. What I want is very different. What we want in society is very different to what we expect and we adhere to.
Okay. So let me just speak for men here. Yeah.
Please do.
Because this is almost like two different things. So sometimes you expect it and want it and sometimes you don't. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is I know how things work.
Explain to me.
No, I'm saying society works a certain way.
Okay.
Doesn't mean society has got things right. Doesn't mean we shouldn't talk with veggie. What I'm trying to... Leon, do you know that men would get turned on by seeing a woman's ankle back in the day?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
But society...
Do you know that?
Okay. Let's try and tie this in with what we were saying in the first place.
Privilege, yeah.
Okay. Is that prettiness comes with a privilege. And you can't, the onus isn't on the person that finds that person pretty. I'm saying that as a pretty woman, you have privileges that other people won't have in life. But you wouldn't know any different because have you ever not been attractive?
No, but I can stand back and look at the world from a sociological perspective and go, that's not, that's not right. A daughter being pretty in a family would literally save their lives. Yeah?
Okay.
So historically, we've not just assigned value.
Yeah, but that would come at a cost.
Be a lifeline.
Yeah, but that would come at a cost.
Yeah, they would sell that daughter and that family would move up in the world and that value was assigned to that daughter by who?
Yeah, but then she would almost be property then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whose fault is that?
Okay.
The woman's?
That was the control that people had in society on people.
The men that were controlling those narratives
So, okay.
that still exist to this day. And given that the porn industry literally govern so much. I think we need to teach our boys, just
So
not
let me
just about pretty privilege.
all right. So let me just address that point you just said. So you're right. 300 years ago, whatever you said, attractive woman could be sold and get the family out of poverty, but then she'd be then a prisoner. Today, a woman can go out without a wallet, and she's fine if she's attractive. Now listen, I'm not trying to listen. This is a okay.
There's a reason her wallet's empty, because being attractive is not cheap.
Okay.
And adhering to these beauty standards is not cheap. There's a reason her wallet's empty, and the reason her time and investment was given into her beauty instead of bettering her career.
It's not just women, because I have male friends who are considered to be very attractive. And I have seen them go through exactly the same thing. But just to clarify, are you saying that it's down to men to learn to be different?
It's down to, same in terms of the social media, it's down to us to understand the controls and understand things from a sociological perspective in terms of better the bigger picture.
Okay. So by educating men, it would be better for who?
Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women need to learn their true value.
Okay.
And the power of pretty privilege and the implications that you've talked about, which we still haven't covered.
Okay. I've never been a woman. Never gonna be. But do you know how hard it is for men?
What do you mean?
Do you know how hard men actually?
Take your fingers away from your mouth.
Okay.
People are lip reading you.
Do you know how hard it is to be a man in this society?
Given the statistics and suicide.
And again, I don't know what women go through. I don't. But I do because of the work that I have to go through.
Yeah.
The reason why men suffer with mental health more than women is because women are biologically designed to deal with internal change. From when they're young girls, you have to go through change. So therefore, you go through an array of emotions from 6, 7, 8, 9. So by the time you get to 14 years old, your experience internally is massive. You can have a man, a 50-year-old man, who's technically still a 12-year-old boy. We don't have to go through internal changes. So when women say, oh, men don't talk, we talk fine. We just don't process information like women do. So we go through the internal struggle, and it's really difficult. So when women say, what's wrong? The truthful answer is, we don't know. We just know that we're feeling things that aren't good, and they're very difficult to express. So I get a lot of the time, women are like, oh, men need to do this and men need to do that. Society isn't built for boys. It's not.
Not now, but it has been.
Okay. But so can't play any more British Bulldog at school. You can't play fight. You can't play rough. So you imagine you have a boy who is 10, 11, 12, 13 at school, full of testosterone, is told to sit down for 6 hours a day. Can't run around. If he's naughty, whatever, can't do PE or whatever. So how is he supposed to express himself? So we are suppressing his very nature from when he's so young all the way through school until we are 15, 16 years old. And I don't think people understand how much this affects a male.
I'm always seeing it from the female side. But again, that is something we need to teach our boys how to. When you say they're not equipped to go through internal change, are you talking from like a biological perspective that women do go through a lot more changes than men?
Massively. But that's puberty, and there's a change in testosterone levels. So it affects our ability to be boisterous, to sit still and to concentrate. Yet we're almost put in this box and said, sit down.
Yeah, women are told to stop crying, stop flipping, get emotional.
Okay.
Women are told to literally don't be overtly emotional.
Who by?
Be like,
Who are women told that by?
everyone.
Look,
You've got
who?
to. Me, for a start, who can't handle it.
Yeah,
like,
but
even in my
who
girls.
tells women that? You said that girls and women are told to stop crying, stop being so emotional.
Society makes us uncomfortable.
When you say society, who? Men. Do men tell women to stop crying?
Yeah.
So a man has told you to stop crying.
A lot of men that I've come across, when I've cried, it makes them angry.
Okay. Well then, unfortunately, you were probably with the wrong man at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, so you mentioned periods, right? So correct me if I'm wrong here. If a female's at school and she's going through her menstrual cycle and she's having bad pains, she can then opt out of PE. Is that correct?
I mean, anyone can opt out of PE now.
Okay. So a female can opt out of PE or a male can opt out of PE.
Yeah.
But then imagine it being the other way around
Yeah.
and getting rid of that energy.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we are suppressed and have to stay inside.
I didn't know that that was an issue. Honestly, I hadn't even thought about that in terms of constantly being told to sit down.
Yeah.
That's-
So you imagine telling a 2-year-old who's just learning to run around, he's got to sit still, or she's got to sit still. Babies at 2 just want to run around because they've just got their legs working, so they want to do so. Boys at 12, 13, they have this testosterone.
Would you relate to that from your
100%.
education? You needed to run around.
100%. But when I was being my age, when I was at school, we could run around and play. Our break times are longer at junior school, working with schools and education establishment. So I see how much boys aren't allowed to do that kind of stuff. They're not allowed to. And it's just not good for us.
Do you think it's gotten worse?
Yeah, I do. Because and you think about it, at most schools, fields aren't available. The break times aren't really long enough to go and play football or go and play cricket or basketball, whatever you want to go and play. At school, we would kind of get changed at break time and then go and play and then come back and then get changed. So I think and then also you got to think about sports days. Sports days are now non-competitive.
Yeah.
It's participation. So there is no winner. People just run around with whatever, and then it's a group thing.
Wouldn't you say that that's linked to the pretty privilege in times of trying to not associate value to one being pretty and associate value to one being physically elite or physically successful?
So then why is it still okay to have SATs and then grades?
I don't think that's okay at
Okay,
all.
but we do.
Very much against that. Going back to how we teach our kids to deal with privileges in society, men assigning a value to their masculinity
Yeah.
and women assigning value to their pretty privilege is something that we do need to talk about. And I think it needs to be a two-way conversation. So like men need to talk to women about it and women need to talk to men, and we all need to just be conscientious of what we're doing.
But I think that parents need to talk to children
Yeah.
and authorities need to talk to children. I feel for young girls who are attractive because what happens is the emphasis is on them too much.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes about how attractive they are.
Yeah.
Then they start to see themselves as just that.
You almost have to prove yourself more constantly. You have to work harder
Yeah.
to prove your worth in other areas, and also manage people's interactions with you, because I don't want to make someone feel unpretty. My frustration is the person that's assigned to me that value. And I often think, was it my parents when they call me beautiful? Or is it men that have responded to me and assigned me that power?
But it is what it is.
The visual world, isn't it?
I don't want this to sound like I'm bashing people who are attractive or people who are not attractive. What we're doing here, we're stating facts. And I think rather than teaching people about being pretty or not pretty, I think what would work better is if we teach people to love who they were. And we teach people about self-esteem and about confidence.
Not caring how people respond to them.
So if we know our names because they were imprinted on us verbally from when we were young. So if we do the same thing with people and say, you are a beautiful person and what matters is the way you are, that's it. That if we ingrain that in people from when they're young and we're doing it through the education system, it's a lot better. But then you're combating and fighting with agendas, which is, hair products, physicality. You butter will sell through someone who's attractive, man or woman. It's not about the product. So we are living in a system that promotes physicality.
Agendas.
Yeah. So we sit down and watch films that have got guns, knives and violence, and that's entertainment to us. But then on the other hand, we having these messages saying, let's stop violence, let's stop weapons. But that's our entertainment. So there's more promoting the entertainment and there's less promoting that we shouldn't use them. So we're going to go with the majority. And that's just the same thing with being attractive as well.
I think this is just a conversation I feel that's close to my heart because it's something that I've thought about over the years, and it's something that I can see my kids, my daughters who are extremely attractive, and I can see it growing in them. And you just don't know what's right and what's wrong.
So
and
what are you
just
going
feel
to do?
Completely inadequate.
What are you going to do to make sure that they are more than attractive people?
I'll always encourage my kids to develop all areas of themselves. And I think we are guided to do that a bit more now. Whereas before it was like, oh, you don't have to worry. She's attractive. You don't have to go to school. You're fine. Well, women don't get away with that anymore. Being a mom, being a wife, having a husband, we've woken up to that's not going to be enough. We have to have more and bring more to the table.
I don't think we have.
Oh, we have. I can assure you, women can't just be attractive. You said yourself, your clients struggle. This doomsday is drawing closer, and in the world of social media, we're able to see that client story and their end game and learn from it.
But I don't think it's any better. Sorry to interrupt you, Hayley. I think it's actually worse because we have programs like Love Island. We didn't have them before.
Yeah.
So we have an island. I've never seen this program, but I've seen advertisements. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but we have an island where they get the most attractive people they can find and put them together. Doesn't that show enforce the very thing that we're talking about?
I'm just saying that's society. And there's a fine line between understanding the true nature of society. I often feel like I'm in that where I know I shouldn't assign any value to my beauty. I know I shouldn't have got my boobs done, or I shouldn't have spent money this, or I shouldn't. And I know that I should invest in other things. But I'm in this world, and I'm walking this walk in this world.
Why did you do that then?
Because I'm in this world and I'm walking this walk, and I am constantly in conflict between what I know should be and what is. But the more we talk about what should be, the more hope our future has to hopefully change
why
the game.
Why did you feel the need to do that?
I mean, it was massively triggered through being cheated on, but I don't want to talk about that. But again, it's not something I necessarily regret, but it's something I'm now reflecting on as I'm looking at my kids. So
if one of your kids said that they want to do that, what would you do? What would you say?
Listen, I was a young mum, and my body was ruined by having kids so young. So for me,
What do you mean by ruined?
I lost the attractiveness that was assigned to me in my younger years for so many years. My physique had always been something of value to other people.
So it was a privilege.
And it was a privilege, yeah. It was something that I used as a privilege by getting into bodybuilding and stuff. So yeah, I got quite into bodybuilding and physique and changing my physique. And
How do you think your life would have been if you didn't get work done?
I wouldn't have had the interactions that I've had. I wouldn't have had the attention that I've had.
Did you need the attention?
Does anyone need attention? I don't
Did you
know.
need the
At the
attention?
time, I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time, I definitely needed the attention, especially being a single mom.
With this wise head that you have on your shoulders now, do you think you could have soldiered it through without getting the work done?
Of course, it's not something that I recommend to anyone, because here's the thing that I learned is that after that alteration that you pay for, you still won't like your body.
That's what happened to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you like it? Do you like it now more than before?
Yeah, I've learned to like it because it's of the work that I've done in there.
So then my
Wasn't it-
question is,
wasn't
could you
it-
have had that work done in there?
Yeah.
So what did you need for that work to be done?
I just needed a broader perspective of what I assign value to.
What gave you that perspective?
My interactions with people that weren't constantly focused on my appearance. I was mindful of who I was engaging with, and I was just being around people that valued who I was as a person. And
Okay. Okay. Just a general question, because I'm just picking up on what you said. Is the gym a place to look sexy?
everyone's different, and it's a place to power up your power. Looking sexy helps you be confident and to power up and enhance that power that you're going into the gym to do. Then yeah, the gym is a place to look sexy, because most people are going in there for aesthetic goals.
Okay. Just a
The
question.
sheer fact
Just a
that
question.
there's a corner that says
Yeah.
women's area
Okay.
pisses me off.
Why?
Putting aside the fact that there's obviously cultures and stuff out there and like religion that need to have that segregated space, I know the fact is that women go in there because they lack confidence to be in that arena. That arena is the man's arena, and women are just tagging along. All science, all theories and stuff associated with the gym primarily have started with men. A woman's physique literally makes the world go round. Humanity couldn't exist if it wasn't for my body.
Okay.
My body made children. My body creates humans inside of it, and I push them out,
Okay.
bringing a whole new meaning to the word muscle contraction.
Okay. But what's this got to do with going to the gym?
Because, Leon,
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, go on.
because, Leon,
Yeah.
when I'm in that gym, I'm not seen as a creator of life. My physique isn't looked at the way she's bending over and making sure she's strong in her hips
Yeah.
that have carried child.
So,
They're
how do you
not.
want to be seen then?
I want to be seen what I am as someone that's made children. I
it bother
have
you?
made humans.
Does it bother you then?
Yes, it bothers me that women aren't looked at as what they are.
But by someone coming over to you and trying to help you, isn't that them looking after you?
Listen, men be eyeballing each other's kg.
Okay. So
And
do
the
you
fact
want
is-
equality in the gym?
No, I want men to just look at women
Do you want
and
equality in the
stop
gym?
assigning the value that they're decorative and not powerfully fucking important. Why have we emphasized the male physique when it literally is more important for a woman to lift weights than a man because of osteoporosis?
So just so I'm clear, something. So
I don't
what do
mean to
you
attack
want?
you.
No, it's fine. I'm listen. I'm very inquisitive. I'm not on that side of that. So I'm just actually going through.
This is not a podcast.
So listen,
It's
so
an
tell me-
attack on,
Okay.
on Leon.
No. So then tell me then. Going to the gym. What do you want?
I want to have a world of men that can look at a woman and see there's a physique that creates life. There's a physique that potentially could birth children or has birthed children.
Most people just want to work out when they go to the gym.
No.
But it seems like you want a lot more than that.
No. But when you work out and you do a deadlift, Leon, and you bend over,
Yeah.
and I do a deadlift and I bend over, there's a different energy in the room.
Are you saying that you don't want the attention of men when you go to the gym?
I want men to be conscientious of what they are lusting for, what they're assigning value to. Because that pretty privilege is just going to continue if men don't think about things.
Do you feel uncomfortable in a man's gym?
I don't personally, just because I'm very resilient to it.
No, you don't.
I just get pissed off now, or I just feel frustrated. I'm looking at things in life very much at the moment from a sociological perspective, in that I am just pissed off. How anyone with 2 brain cells can fathom why they should invest in male physique and not female physique. Things have changed now.
Some things have changed.
Of course, some things have changed, but I will tell you now, as someone who is a woman in a gym, it's still friggin' annoying. But back to pretty privilege again. When you're in the fitness industry, or when you're trying to get fit, you go through a process where you're trying to have these aesthetic goals to enhance your pretty privilege. But then you realise that actually it's giving you mental well-being. You're learning to value the feeling it's giving you rather than the aesthetic goal. So again, it's about what we're assigning value to.
Okay.
So
Everything's a viewpoint that should be explored, whether we agree with it or not. The most mature thing that we can do in the world is sit down and conversate with things that we don't agree with.
Yeah.
So then we can learn a different perspective on things. Right or wrong is circumstantial, isn't it? So the more we talk openly, is the more we can learn, and then the more we can get on together.
do you know what my daughter said to me once, which really stunned me and was massively woke me up to the fact that we need us old golden oldies to have these conversations. I've had conversations about how she appears sexy and like what's her intention. Because I'm like, I'm never going to tell you to not wear something.
Yeah.
But you're going to have a conversation with what your intention is behind this outfit.
Okay.
Yeah? Because I want you to reflect on it.
Do
I want
women
this
have
to change.
intentions beyond that?
Of course.
Okay.
It's a language, Leanne.
Is it really?
Appearance is a language you learn as a woman, yeah. Fashion is a language, it's a form of expression.
If a woman comes through the door with makeup, hair done, brand new dress on, and sees her partner sitting on the settee, what's she saying?
It depends your intentions can be so different. I don't know. Sometimes you get dressed up for yourself, genuinely.
These conversations, these questions that I ask you, I know to you and to women they may seem like normal or second nature, but there's a lot of people, men, who generally don't get this stuff, honestly.
Which is why it's important to talk about it. And this is, sorry, I didn't say the topic, the thing that struck me from my daughter when I was telling her to cover up.
Okay.
She said, Mom, we don't cover up because men behave a certain way. We just get better men. And I just went, oh.
Okay.
I didn't have a response to that. How do you respond to your 16, 17, however old you was, saying, I'm not going to change how I appear because of how a man might treat me. I'm just going to expect a better man. I cannot, as a woman in today's world, disagree with that. And I think this is why we as parents and inadequate mothers and inadequate fathers need to wake up to these conversations and start having them.
No,
Is that something you want to disagree with?
listen, what I'll tell you is that in an ideal world, certain statements will run true, but we don't live in an ideal world.
You have to be
things happen.
conscientious of the world you're in.
People happen.
No, I know what you're going to say. You could turn around and say that you're opening yourself up to unwanted attention.
But then, listen, there's going to be people that are going to say, well, people should learn to restrain themselves. And that is very true. But we live in a world, unfortunately, where people don't
Don't,
learn to
yeah.
restrain themselves. And then the argument comes, well,
Yeah.
someone could get attacked wearing a duffel coat from head to toe. And they could. And this is the time where I'm saying, okay, do you know what? This is where I have to just try and look after me and my own.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's going to agree on solutions. People are going to just see things differently. They just are. Have you ever seen that Dave Chappelle skit where he says, just because I'm dressed this way?
No, what is it?
You'll have to watch it.
Go on, what is
No,
it?
it'd be too hard to explain. But yeah, anyway, good.
Because we are talking about parenting on this podcast and how we feel inadequate to manage the world as it is. And like you've just said, it's the reality and what should be is, again, my point of being a part of a generation that what was and what is going to be. Our kids are trying to shape a society that they want. So Kyla saying we just expect better behaviour from men is a valid point. But I took her to Amsterdam and showed her the red light district. And I could tell that that moment there made her wake up to the reality, and me just saying, you made a fair point. You know, this is how it should be. And I'm never going to tell you to stop pushing for that. But this is also, sex trafficking is real and you could be gone in a second. Because I think our kids are just in this bubble sometimes on their phones where they think they're customizing their lives and they're customizing the world that they want to see.
Yeah.
But they don't look at the reality. So I think travel combined with these conversations is really important.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in teaching people the reality of life, not the ideology of Disney. I'm just saying
Yeah, I
because
know what you're saying.
that's how people are gonna end up in trouble when they're gonna think they can run outside, hit bricks and mushrooms, come out the top. This isn't Super Mario, and when you go out there,
Yeah.
the world is a very tough, harsh place. And you'll find that out when you pay bills, when you get heartbroken, when you lose your job, when you go for a bereavement. You'll find out how tough the world really is. And I'm not saying that we should take away the innocence of the children, but I'm saying that preparation is absolutely everything, because I feel that my job is to make my children contribute to the world and not be a burden on the world. So if I can do the best job I can do, I will hopefully sit back and reap the rewards. I've always said your success is going to be determined by your children.
Yeah. Your legacy will be your children.
Of course. And I don't want time to ever come back and my child's done this, that and the other. So for all my mistakes and my downfalls, we have to try our best to give our children the best.
Yeah. And I think it is a balancing act between managing what it is that should be and what is the reality. And I think it is a balance. So I think let's draw that episode to an end. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
So new to this, and I hope that there's an interpreter somewhere on the screen. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we will have Leon back here because he's awesome. And you know, who else is going to challenge Leon in his thinking and his wisdom? This wayward woman. Okay, goodbye. And what should I say? Something like subscribe to the channel. Or am I supposed to say that?
I have no idea how this works.
I don't know how this works either. Okay, subscribe and give us a follow.